Hi, it's Allison, and this is a presentation I did for ClueCon 2021 virtually called Your Callers Are Hanging Up. Find out why. So a little bit about my background. I'm probably best known as the voice of the Asterisk open source PBX. I'm also the voice of Sangoma, Free Switch, Free PBX. Also, on the not-so-open source side, I've voiced lots of platforms for Sysco, Mitel, ShoreTel, Bell Canada, Cincinnati Bell. And this is just sort of a brief little short list of clients I work for on a regular basis. So PetSmart is a huge client, so is Samsung. So caller aggravation is a common thing. It's not getting any better. And so I have some basic troubleshooting so that if you're designing phone systems, we can do a better job of eliminating caller frustration. So the first thing that is making callers hang up is that they actually hate talking on the phone. The preferred mode of communication obviously is texting, messaging, that kind of thing. So when callers are calling a company, you have to presume that one of two things is going on. First of all, they've already been to the website and the solution to their problem could not readily be found. And the second is that their problem is so sticky and so problematic and they have issues. So this is why they're phoning in. And so if telephone systems were designed with that presumption that people are not happy when they're calling in, that might inform a better way of writing prompts that are, obviously not contributing to aggravation. The number 9 reason why callers are hanging up is that the choices are too similar or confusingly alike. So I think we've all been in the same position of calling into a company. You're listening to the menu and you're thinking, what I'm calling in is a little bit about choice number 1, but it's also about choice number 2. So confusion in the prompts being too similar is a very common reason why people might decide to hang up and just bail out of the whole process. The number 8 reason why people might be hanging up in droves is that a horrible IVR is actually expected. Unfortunately, when people phone in and they hear an automated system, which is, a majority of the time when you call a company, it's almost as though the caller expects that their time is going to be wasted and that the experience is going to be negative. The number 7 reason why people might be inclined to hang up is that they don't actually know what a good IVR is. So when I'm voicing IVRs, a lot of IVRs seem to be kind of written on a template where it's for this, press that, for that, press this. And so every now and then I'll voice one that actually takes some chances and is actually kind of creative in its writing. And so good IVRs are out there, and I try to urge people to write with a more imaginative stance. But unfortunately, most callers wouldn't know what a good IVR actually sounds like. So the number 6 reason why callers might be aggravated, they don't actually want to take out their aggravation on the live agent, but a bad IVR sets them up to do so. So unfortunately, the live agents get the brunt of caller frustration, and often the IVR will contribute to that frustrated state. Number 5, your IVR is too confusing. So that gets back to the previous point of choices being too similar, and also that the actual directions in the IVR are too confusing. So, that E-card where they're asking them to press 1 to confirm a choice or press 2, that's actually not an exaggeration. I have voiced IVRs that present an initial choice and then ask for confirmation a couple of times. It's confusing and it's unnecessary. So the number 4 reason why people might be inclined to hang up is that your IVR is too long. I always coach people into writing 5 choices in their IVR max. Anything more than that, the human brain can't remember it. And they will also remember only the last thing that they heard. So try to keep the IVR as short as possible. So number 3, callers just want a solution to their problem. They're not interested in how your IVR helps in your workflow. So the IVR is and has always been traditionally designed to sort callers into various different factions, but callers don't really know that or really care about that. They want the choices to pair them up with an agent that is a specialist in what they're calling about. And that's really what it should be. It really shouldn't be for the company's convenience. The number 2 reason why callers feel a little bit demoralized and dehumanized is that they actually perceive the waste of time as a good bargain if they can arrive at their solution. So unfortunately, if you have to call a company, especially a large company or a large government entity, let's say, you know that you're going to be carving out a great deal of time that you're going to be wasting out of your day, but it is perceived as an exchange. Callers are willing to do that if they can arrive at a solution, but it really shouldn't be that way. And the number 1 reason why callers feel a little bit dehumanized is that they want to be set up for success. They want to call a company, interact smoothly, and reach their goal. And unfortunately, many IVRs, the way that they're written and designed, do not set the callers up for success. I personally feel as though the wasting of the caller's time and patience is inexcusable, and it is counter to good business. So how do we fix these various 10 points of weakness in an IVR? So for number 10, the preference of most callers to interact virtually and not on the phone, acknowledge that they have called, and that's a big deal. And also perhaps offer them other modes of contact. If texting or chatbot would work out better for them, offer that in your IVR. For point number 2, with your choices being too similar or too confusingly alike, acknowledge that the customer really shouldn't be put through a maze or a challenge to get to the right choice. They really shouldn't feel the repercussions of making the wrong choice in your IVR. As for a horrible IVR as expected, let's do things in our industry to change the way that IVRs are designed and written to change callers' expectations of what an IVR should be. And again, this kind of dovetails into this slide, which is callers not knowing what a good IVR is. You, as someone in the industry, have the opportunity to write better scripts and to show callers how easy and effective an IVR can be to use. As for callers not wanting to take it out on the live agent, but the IVR has set them up to do so, again, I want people to work on the presumption that callers may not be in the best mood when they're calling, and that unfortunately the IVR might actually contribute to that negative mood that the live agent has to diffuse. As for the IVR being too confusing, keep it simple, keep it brief, and keep the choices distinctly different from each other. This point about IVRs being too long, again, make it as brief as possible. For this point about callers really just wanting a solution to their problem and really not caring about what the IVR does for your company, as it should be, IVRs really should be centered around the caller and making their experience as painless as possible. And as for the caller's wasting of time being perceived as a good bargain if they can get to a solution, callers will tolerate a lot of nonsense, but why should they have to? And as for the caller wanting to feel set up for success, it actually takes surprisingly little to make callers feel like they're successful in their mission. I think we've all had the experience of going through a call on an IVR and with a live agent, and then they transfer you, and you have this terrified feeling of going, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to explain this to a whole new agent. So make sure that the caller is reassured that their time and patience is valued and that you have continuity between agents so that the caller does not have to retell their story again and again. So here's a brief checklist if you're writing up IVR scripts to make sure that you integrate all of the principles into your next script. Make sure that the IVR reflects the brand and the personality of the company. Make sure that your IVR is concise in its wording and avoid cliches. You know the ones. Please listen to the entire menu before making your selection. Or this menu has recently changed. Callers don't care. Be sincere in your connection with your callers. Thank them sincerely for calling in, again acknowledging that calling in is a big time investment and that you're sensitive to that time investment. It's important that you acknowledge within yourself that the IVR is not a substitute for good quality live agent care. It's merely a way for you to get the caller to the live agent. And that's pretty much it. This is my contact information, and feel free to reach out to me if you require custom prompts. Thanks for watching.